You know, I don't know how this is going to look, but behind you, let me show you guys where you guys are going to be. Hang on, let me show you. Let me show you before we get in the old yes guys. There you go, there's an extra one for you. Take a look at this. It is rather delightful in this neck of the woods. Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. I don't know about you, but I'm still feeling pretty good. You know, we beat Atletico Madrid this week, ladies and gentlemen. If that is not a good enough reason to subscribe to the George Benson football channel, where you find out everything there is to know about Chelsea Football Club, be it match previews, 6 things we learnt match reviews, Chelsea news videos, and opinionated discussions where, as always, the conversation continues in the comments down below. I always love to hear what you guys have to say about pretty much anything that I may say in one of these GBFC videos. Today, we're going to be talking about the striker contract situation. There are 2 current strikers that we have at the club. Well, there's 3, actually 4, if you include 5, if you include Batshuayi and Armando Broja. We're going to talk about Tammy Abraham's contract. We're going to talk about Olivier Giroud's contract. And we're going to talk about the alternative options that might be considered if Erling Haaland, who is supposedly Chelsea's main target, if Mr. Erling from Norway decides that he wants to go somewhere else, which, you know, wouldn't be too much of a surprise considering the calibre of clubs that are after him, but I'm pretty sure if he takes one drive down the King's Road or flies over London in a nice Norwegian, what's that flipping airline called? I've forgotten, to be honest, but I shouldn't promote them anyway because they never gave me discount on my baggage when I used to fly to Sweden. If he took a flight over London, he'd probably take a look at it and think, blimey, that's quite a nice place. But anyway, first things first, let's talk about the news regarding Olivier Giroud. It's not really news, if I'm honest, when a player doesn't really give any information about whether or not he's going to extend his contract. It basically means that there's actually nothing to talk about, quite fairly to be fair. Like, have I forgotten how to speak English just because I've been trekking in a national park today? Take a look at these videos.
Here in the Bali National Park is a wild Moldovan creature and a British sausage.
Damn, that's a big gecko, man. Endangered Balinese black monkey. Back to the point though, I know that you're here for the football, not the flipping monkeys and deers, but, you know, Olivier Giroud, every time he has a really big performance for Chelsea, every time he has a really big game, the questions always come in as to how long and whether or not Olivier Giroud is going to stay at Chelsea Football Club. We've already waxed lyrical here on the channel, to use Yanislav Ivanovic or Anatoly Timoshuk's phrase. We've already spoken very highly about how brilliant of a deal the Olivier Giroud signing was when we bought him in from Arsenal. Arsenal saw him as being maybe a little bit too old. They had strikers lined up they're about to buy. Olivier Giroud wasn't wanted, and in 2018 he comes along to Chelsea, bags a goal in an FA Cup semi-final, wins the FA Cup, and then wins the Europa League the following season, and now he's doing absolute bits and is Chelsea's top scorer in the Champions League as we look to progress into the quarter-finals. Olivier Giroud, let's think about this logically. You know, the man is in his mid-30s now, he's still bagging in goals and still playing very well and offering a lot on the football pitch, and it doesn't seem as though he has any intentions of actually retiring from football anytime soon. He looks, to me, with 6 goals in the Champions League this season, no offence to any of the, like, let's say the twilight leagues. Let's look at the MLS, for example. It's a league I respect very heavily, but at the same time, players often go there when they're ending their careers. I know there's a big audience in the US who watch my channel, but Olivier Giroud to the MLS is something that I've heard a little bit about across a couple of different times when he wasn't playing, or now that he is playing. Obviously we don't hear the stories, but it's very easy to hear those kind of stories if Olivier Giroud isn't getting minutes and wants to be playing football and needs to be and should be playing football. So, do I think Olivier Giroud is still good enough to stay at Chelsea for another year based off of what I'm currently seeing? Absolutely yes. I think he's one of the most underappreciated, underrated strikers, even at 34 years old, in the bloody world. So, for that reason alone, I would love to see Olivier Giroud stay at Chelsea. However, because he is so good still, I totally understand if he looks at Chelsea bringing in Werner and then also trying to bring in Erling Haaland. I would totally understand if Giroud looks at that and thinks, you know, I don't think I'm going to be first choice ahead of either of these two. So therefore, for the sake of my career, thank you for everything, Chelsea, but it's time to go. So I think it's going to be very tough to keep hold of Olivier Giroud beyond the end of this season. I think it doesn't really matter what he does between now and the end of the season. He could bag in another 15 Premier League goals, win Chelsea the Champions League, and I still think Chelsea will be trying to sign either Haaland or another striker this summer. There's also, if we bring in the second part of this video, Tammy Abraham has been reluctant to sign a new contract now for quite some time, and the reports are coming out, and I'm going to put the tweet from Simon Phillips up on the screen. The reports are coming out that Tammy Abraham, with Chelsea expressing their interest in Erling Haaland, Tammy Abraham is supposedly now even more reluctant to sign that new contract. Here's the thing, until Chelsea put in a bid for Haaland, or until we become the club who are actively talking about it, trying to progress with trying to make a deal for the player from Dortmund for the summer, until that happens, there's no guarantee, although I'm trying to push the agenda as much as humanly possible, there's still no guarantee that Haaland is going to become a Chelsea player. However, at the same time, Tammy Abraham has been reluctant already in the past to sign a new deal. Chelsea bought in TIMO Werner. Tammy's still getting a few minutes here and there this season, playing quite a lot of football actually. I say a few minutes here and there, that's probably degrading the actual amount of football he's playing. Tammy Abraham's still playing a lot of football, and his goal scoring record at Chelsea is still incredibly good. Now, do I think that I would sit here and say that because we have Tammy Abraham, I do not want us to go for a striker with the world-class calibre that Erling Haaland has? Absolutely not. I think if Chelsea can afford him, we have to be going for him. I've said this before, I think he's that good of a striker that he's going to be at the top of the footballing pyramid, the top of the footballing game for the next 10-15 years. I think he's that great of a striker, and as good as Tammy has been for Chelsea, you know, I think Haaland, wherever he goes, whether he stays at Dortmund or moves on, he's going to be prolific wherever he goes. And when I say prolific, you look at his goal scoring record, it's absolutely insane. Even in the big games as well, he scored twice for Dortmund this week in the Champions League. The man's an absolute genius. He's a unit, he's an old school striker in a young man's body, and he's already blowing teams away across the continent. So Chelsea are in for Erling Haaland. Let's just say that. We've heard enough about it, we've seen enough rumours, we've read enough stories. Tammy Abraham reluctant to sign a new deal. Maybe Chelsea actually put Tammy Abraham as part of an offer to Borussia Dortmund in order to try and get Haaland's signature. It's very, very easy to misconstrue what I'm saying here in saying that I don't want Tammy, I don't care about Tammy, I just want Haaland and Werner to be my Chelsea partnership. That's not what I'm saying. However, I've made it very clear that if Haaland's available, Chelsea have to go for him, and I think we will. And I would also totally understand if after bringing in TIMO Werner, Tammy Abraham was given the number 9 shirt when Frank Lampard came in, played a lot of football in his first season, did very well, and is still doing very well in terms of goal scoring. But I would totally understand if Tammy didn't want to sign a new deal, with these rumours starting to heat up, with Werner already signing. It would make a lot of sense for his career if he was to go and be the main target man, the main number 9 somewhere else. Do I want that to happen? Absolutely not. What a crazy thing to say. You know, Tammy's goal scoring record at Chelsea is fantastic, and if we could have, let's just say, like, the best case scenario, we sign Erling Haaland, TIMO Werner's still there, you know, we got Brozier to come back maybe as like a 4th or 5th choice striker, but we obviously don't need 5 strikers, but he keeps doing well on loan. To have Tammy Abraham as that 3rd striker and Olivier Giroud would be an absolute dream. Abraham or Giroud would be too happy to be like 3rd or 4th choice, but it would be an absolute dream scenario. The question I have for you guys in the comment section of today's video is, do you think Tammy Abraham A will stay at Chelsea if we do sign Erling Haaland? B, do you want Tammy Abraham to stay at Chelsea? I know this is a bit of a weird question because, you know, I don't want to be... Hang on a minute, it's a flipping bug who's giving me a little bit of jip over here. I don't want to be starting these kind of conversations of do we want him because we want him? Do we want that because we want that? But I would love to hear what you guys have to say about Tammy Abraham. Do you think he's good enough to lead the line for Chelsea for the next 10 years? That is the question I want to know from you in the comments below. My answer to that question, as I know it would be pointless for me to make this video and not answer it myself, I do believe that Tammy Abraham is a very good striker. I think that his numbers are very good. I think that some of the work he does on the ball is very good. He is still very young, so clearly there's still parts of his game that will be developed and that will still improve. But I have my reservations if he's at the kind of level compared to the kind of player that Chelsea are being linked with right now, when I look at where this Chelsea team could go, not just with the attackers, but the whole team and squad with the current manager, I think this Chelsea team can go to the very top, be it in the Premier League and potentially in Europe as well. So do I think Tammy Abraham has done enough at this point to really warrant me sitting here with confidence saying we don't need Erling Haaland, let's keep Tammy Abraham and back him to the rafters because he's going to be the man to fire us to Champions League and Premier League glory? I haven't seen enough from Tammy yet to be able to sit here with confidence and say that. That's just the truth, my honest opinion. I think Tammy's a very good striker. I love the fact he's come up through the academy. He's a Chelsea boy, he loves it. I absolutely want him to stay at this club, but if Haaland comes in, it's going to be tough for him to get starting minutes for sure, especially with Werner in the side as well. But I really want to see Tammy stay, and that's where I sit on the whole thing. I really want to see Olivier Giroud stay as well for as long as possible. I want him to retire at Chelsea. That would be the absolute dream with what he's done so far for this club in the 2 years that he's been with us, or 3 years now that he's been with us. It's been fantastic. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up here. I was going to talk a little bit more about different strikers, but I think I'm actually going to save that for another video. Maybe we bring out a little tier list video of potential strikers that Chelsea could sign in this summer's window. So stay tuned for that one. As I said in yesterday's video and the video before, going to be dropping something very exciting for you guys this week, and I'm hoping I'll be releasing all the information about it in tomorrow's video. I said that yesterday, but today, stay tuned and make sure you tune into GBFC tomorrow because it's going to be a big one. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you did enjoy. Let me know your thoughts on the topics in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new. Come on, you Blues.